Hi boys and girls, this is Miss Kendall. I'm going to go over the answers from the division video with you so you can see if you got them correct or if you need some more practice. It's very important that you are comparing your work to my work as we go over this. So if you do have an error, you can figure out how you made that error and why you made it so you can avoid doing that in the future. It's very important that you are analyzing your work so you can see what type of learner you are and what type of errors you need to look out for. So this first one, we start by looking at 2 going into 6. How many times does 2 fit into 6? Well, 2, 4, 6, it fits in 3 times. So it's very important that the 3 goes above the 6 because that's the digit we're working with. We need to stay in those place values. 3 times 2 is 6. I next subtract and I get 0. I need to check if this number, this difference, is less than my divisor, I'm on the right track. If you look and this digit is greater than here, you know that this number in your quotient is incorrect. You need to go back and fix that. So here, 0 is less than 2, so I can keep going with the next step of bringing down. Now I ask myself, if I have 1, how many groups of 2 can fit? And it's none. 2 is greater than 1, so that doesn't work. So I put a 0 in my quotient, making sure it's all lined up. 0 times 2 is 0. I subtract and I get 1. I check, is 1 less than 2? Yes it is, so I bring down. Now I ask myself, how many times does 2 fit into 13? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14 is too big, so we need to do 12. So 2 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Subtract, I get a 1. This 1 is my remainder because there's no other digits that I could bring down. So I can answer 306 with a remainder of 1. In the video, you learned how you can double check your work with multiplication. This means that 306 times 2, 306 times 2, 12, 0, 1, 6. It should match in here. It doesn't, and that's because I need to also just add in quickly my remainder. So now I should see 613 in here, and I do. So that's correct. Going on to number 2. Once again, I ask myself, does 3 go into 9? It does. How many times does it fit? It fits 3 times. And now actually, I might even take a sticky note or another piece of paper and I might cover up those extra digits so that it's not so confusing. 3 times 3 is 9. I subtract and get 0. I want to check. Is 0 less than 3? Yes, it is. So I continue, and that means I bring down. How many times does 3 go into 0? Well, it doesn't. If I have 0, I can't take 3 away. So I need to say, this does not work. I put a 0 in my quotient. Then I continue with multiplying. 0 times 3 is 3. I subtract. Oh, sorry, 0 times 3 is 0. Sorry. I get 0. I check. 0 is less than 3. I can move on. And I bring down. If I have 4, how many groups of 3 can I take out? Just 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract and get 1. 1's less than 3, so I'm on the right track. There are no more digits to bring down from my dividend, so this 1 becomes a remainder. I noticed a pattern. Both quotients have a 0 in the tens place and a remainder of 1. Interesting. So now I can go back and I can check my work. I would do 301 times 3. 3, 0, 9. And it's not matching it. That's because I need to add in 1. Now you'll see I have 904, and that's what I started with. Going down to number 3. I'm going to cover up the extra digits just so it doesn't confuse me. How many times does 4 go into 4? 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract and get 0. I check. 0 is less than 4, so I can go ahead and bring down the next digit. If I have 3, how many groups of 4 can I take out? I can't do that, so I put a 0. I can take 0 times. I can take nothing out. It doesn't work. 0 times 4 is 0. I subtract and get 3. I check. 3 is less than 4, so I can then bring down. Now I have 36. How many groups of 4 goes into 36? Well, 9. 9 times 4 is 36. I subtract and get 0. 0 is less than 4, so I'm on the right track. There's nothing left to bring down, so that's my answer. It goes in nice and smooth. So I can double check. 109 times 4 should get me 436. Zero, 3. There we are. So I know my answer is correct. Now as you go to the last one, you'll notice there are 4 digits in your dividend. It doesn't make it any harder. It'll add a few steps, but you know how to do it as long as you stick with the correct steps. So I want to make sure I look at 1. If I have 1, how many groups of 5 can I take out? I can't. So what I can do here is I can look to 1 more digit over. That's it. I can make it say, how many times does 5 go into 10? That is 2. It's very important I put the 2 above the 0, so I make sure that my digits are lined up in the correct place value. 2 times 5 is 10. I subtract and get 0. 0 is less than 5, so I'm on the right track. I bring down the 4, and I start this whole pattern over again. If I have 4, how many groups of 5 can I take out? I can't. 4 is smaller than 5. It's not possible. So I have to tell myself that by putting a 0 in the quotient. 0 times 5 is 0. I subtract and I have 4. 4 is less than 5, so I'm on the right track. Now I can bring down the 1. How many groups of 5 fit into 41? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So 45 is too much. I have to stick with the 41, or with the 40. So that would be 8 times 5 is 40. And I'm going to have 1 left over. 1 is less than 5, so that's correct. I can keep going. There's nothing left to bring down, so this empty number down here becomes the remainder. Remember, I could check my work with multiplication because multiplication is the opposite of division. I would do 208 times 5 gives me 40. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 4. That's 10. It doesn't match yet because I still need to add the extras. So plus 1 would get me 1,041. So now you are going to go back to the Google Doc to see your next steps of what you have to do now. Maybe I'll see you soon. Keep doing your math.